Greetings and peace from throughout the boundless universe. Welcome tonight, this shadow hour, to another great session of new mathematics by mathematics. We come to you tonight, this shadow hour, with new maths once again. BES and BASTET, here in both spirit and in mind, and in body and in soul. Amen. Greetings and welcome. It's hard for me to see y'all names, but I do welcome y'all and I thank y'all for coming. If you do have any questions though, I'll do my best to try to see those questions and see if you have any questions about anything I say or anything we relate to concerning the mathematics. If you saw that session last shadow hour, you know it was a very powerful course, a very powerful session. We talked about many things, especially concerning, like inverse, obverse, reverse, inverse, and inverse operations. We talked a lot about that, which I didn't really mention obverse. I should have, but obverse is just means the obvious. You know what I'm saying? It's like the obvious. It's like the front side of a seal and the back side of a seal. The obverse would be the obvious side, the front side, and the back side would be the inverse side. So in mathematics, you can look at it like that coin. Like when we talk about 0 divided by 0 equals nu. When we talk about that, when we say 0 divided by 0 equals nu, then this is the obverse. The obverse is 0 right here, alienate right there, 0. That's the obverse. This action right there. That's the obverse. Now, the inverse of this symbol would be the multiple. So it would be 0 times 0, and that would equal something else. That would equal 0 squared. Okay? So then that would be the inverse of that same number, 0 times 0. And then the reverse of this same number would be, let's say, 0 divided by 0. We got to put nu back. 0 divided by 0, or 0 alienate 0 equals nu. Now then the reverse inverse, because now we go on reverse, and then we're using the inverse symbol to division, which is multiplication. So then we go here, and then there. And so this becomes the reverse inverse answer to this. And as we spoke last night, let me do this so we'll just be clear. It don't matter if you don't know what this means. That's just important to me later on. So to make a long story short, this symbol is the reverse inverse. So once we do the reverse inverse, we have 3. We have the obverse, which this is the obverse. Let's just do it. This is the obverse. And then we have I like to do it this way. The reverse inverse. We have the reverse inverse. Reverse inverse. And so the reverse inverse is nu times 0 equals, so then we'll go nu times 0 equals. So that's the reverse inverse. And so then the inverse is, remember, 0 alienate 0 equals nu is the obverse. So 0 times 0 would be the inverse. So the inverse is here. Inverse 0 times 0 equals 0 squared. So that's just a quick review or recap of some of the information we conveyed last shout out. The obverse, the reverse inverse, and the inverse. And these were important in later on mathematics. So if we switch this symbol, and remember now, there is no answer to this really. 0 divided by 0, this answer is undefined to them. In modern mathematics, this answer is undefined, indeterminate. It's an error. Cannot divide by 0. Cannot. Okay? So then, and this number, nu times 0, which this number is nu too in the number system. So this number is unknown anyway to mathematics. And this number times 0, so the answer would be unknown. Because this answer is unknown, then multiplying this number times 0, the answer would be unknown because this number is unknown. So therefore, we leave this answer like that, or somewhat like that. So this answer is still in question to them. And so then when we go to the inverse, we have 0 times 0 equals 0 squared. And we see it too being a different 0 than these zeros right here. So we have some new mathematics going on right here where we have 0 squared and we have a new number, and then we have now error correction. We have an error correction, and we can divide by 0. So now this number is now defined, and we define this number as being new. New. And that numeral said NU, new. So that number is new. So then if we were to do another one, let's say do another one like that, like we did last shout out, and we'll do it over here still. How about that? We'll do it over here still. We won't move to the other side of the board. We'll just change things. And we'll change this. The signs and everything will stay the same, right? It don't matter. Only the answers may change. Some of the answers could remain the same. But we'll do n divided by 0, since that'll be on. N, that n stands for any number, y'all. Any number divided by 0 equals 0 n. So this is just a little side note. So if this was 1 divided by 0 equals 0, 1. If that was 2 divided by 0, it would equal 0, 2. If that was 10 divided by 0, it would equal 0, 10. Okay? So any number divided by 0 equals odd. And thus this number is said 1 on, 2 on, 10 on. So it said on. You see that? And this way, things like this relate to children very well. When you have smiles on the board, when you're able to make it look presentable, then this really helps children. Okay? So now, right here we have n, any number divided by 0 equals 0n. And this 0n number is pronounced on. Okay? Not to be confused. On is the word, the linguistics. On is the number, the numeral, or the numerics. Okay? So now, we have the reverse inverse of this number. What do we do to get the reverse inverse of this number? We need to reverse. So the obverse is n, alienate 0 equals on. So to reverse that, we will go on times, because we're reversing and we're doing the inverse, So we have to put the multiplication because it's the inverse of the alienation. And so we put the time symbol, and then here we go. And then that number equals n. So on times 0 equals n. So then we know that that number is, let me write it a little bit over, don't want to crowd it out, is 0n, I'm sorry, times 0 equals n. So now, let me remind you that this number, n divided by 0, or this number, 1 divided by 0, 2 divided by 0, 10 divided by 0, all of these are undefined. This cannot be found on a calculator, in a computer, or any counting device, computational device, or calculation device. Okay? So this number, 0n, or on, is a new number as well. So like new, when new is here, on is new. So, and don't confuse new with new with new. Okay? Okay, so now, and there is an Egyptian new with the T for new. And so you have the inverse. And so the inverse would be, if the obverse was n alienate 0 equals on, and the reverse inverse was on times 0 equals n, then the inverse would be n times 0 equals on. So we need to write that out. N times 0 equals on. So this too is a new number. And although in mathematics, you may have thought you knew that any number times 0 equals 0, it doesn't. Any number times 0 equals on. So this is the reason why we call it new mathematics. You never knew from the great new. That's why we call it that. New mathematics. You never knew from the great new. And that's one of the mystery names. So you can look that up. Let me see what else we were talking about. And also, this word new is where you get the word unit. See that? Unit. Unit, which is the smallest digit. And when they say quark bits, or qubits, in Egypt you already had qubits. It was the measure. So it's nothing new that they're doing. But what we are doing is going to be new. Okay? So now, what were we? So we had determined that now we've determined the obverse, the reverse inverse, and the inverse of the number on, or the solution on. We've come up with this reverse inverse and this inverse. And we've determined that now we have this new in mathematics. We have this new in mathematics. So this is new in mathematics. And this answer, so the solution is new in mathematics. And this solution is new in mathematics. Although the number is new, the solution is still new. And then this is new in mathematics. The solution is new, and the number is new. So this is just new mathematics all the way around. So now, And we should have did that when we had the number new up. We would have saw just as much new number. But let's go ahead nevertheless. And let's see what we have next. So now, and the link between multiplication, I apologize. The link between, and I don't like the word apologize, because it relates to the word Abaddon and Apollyon, and we really don't use it. And I don't like the word sorry, and we don't really have a word for that in the net, or the net, amongst the Turanian people. So, what shall we say? Asmuni, excuse me, and that means to let me go or let me leave, pardon me, let me leave. So, what do we say for that word? What do we say? My bad, my mistake, hit the streets on you. Okay, let's do it. So, our verse. Because remember now, this is indigenous aesthetics, mathematics, and linguistics. Okay, linguistics. And we know we invented our own term. We invented our own term. We call ourselves linguistics. Linguistician. Yeah, so we just added all this. We just put that in to linguistics or linguistics. And we just made ourselves linguisticians. Okay? So that's what we are. Because if we mathematicians and estheticians, then surely we linguisticians. Right? That's what I thought too. So now, let's do this. Let's do it. Okay. The next one we'll do, let's erase this because this don't really have nothing to do with the next number. Okay, so now we did new, we did on. Let's do, we'll do 0, then we'll do 1. Oh, if y'all want to do 1, then do 0. We'll do 1, then do 0. 1. Well, actually, we should say n divided by n. N divided by n equals. Right? But also 1 alienate 1 equals 1. 2 alienate 2 equals 1. 3 alienate 3 equals 1. So any number alienate itself equals 1. So then the reverse inverse. So then the reverse inverse of this number. Wait, before we do it, before we move forward. I don't know why I did that. Let me refresh. Okay. I moved it completely over. Let's do that again. N divided by n equals 1. Okay? So that equals 1. Let's do it that way. Now, and so then n alienate n equals 1. So we see the obverse. What's the reverse inverse? We'll have to go reverse that answer. Check that answer. That's how you check. So let me say this. When you reverse, and you inverse, and you do those two, you're checking. That's how you check. That's how you check to see if the answer is correct. If the return, you're doing a return, just like on a computer or calculator, you're doing a return. So you want to know if n divided by n equals 1. If any number I divide by itself equals 1. So let's try it. 1 alienate 1 equals 1. 2 alienate 2 equals 2. 10 alienate 10 equals, I'm sorry about that, y'all, equals 1. And 10 alienate 10 equals 1. So now, we see that anytime we divide a number by itself or alienate a number from itself, it equals 1. Alienate 1. Alienate 1. So we see it always equals 1. So n divided by n equals 1. So we mentioned last shout out, so just to make it clear, make it plain. Infinity divided by infinity equals 1. Okay? Because n as in infinity divided by infinity equals 1. So now, yeah, thumb up the video, like the video, show some love, put some hearts up. Peace. And peace in the lamb. It's truly wonderful. So now, here we go. We'll say the reverse inverse. So to reverse that, we have to go 1 times n, and that'll equal n. We can see that's true. So then we can write that in. 1 times n equals n. So let's write the reverse inverse n. 1 times n equals n. So we pretty much agree with that in mathematics. We pretty much agree with this. We pretty much agree with that. And so then we have the inverse to deal with. Right? We have the inverse to deal with. And the inverse is n times n is going to equal a number. But that number is not going to be 1. That number is going to be n squared. So then we have to write in, we can put our 1 back. We have to write in n times n equals n squared. Okay? So that equals n squared. So now we have the obverse, which is the obvious. N alienate n equals 1. We have the reverse inverse, which is 1 times n equals n. So we have all that together. We need to inverse it. So we have n times n equals n squared. And that's 1. We have n squared. We satisfied. So we pretty much know that this in mathematics, this checks out. We pretty much know that 1 times n checks out. And we pretty much know that n over n equals 1. We know that. However, the contradiction comes in if n had to or tried to extend to 0. See, if you wanted n to equal 0, then it would be a problem because you can't divide by 0, or they can't divide by 0. I'm not going to say you. They can't divide by 0. So you will have a problem. They will have a problem. So, and let me tell you why that's hard. It's because when you look at, we explained this before, when you look at a computer or a calculator, those devices and the apps, that software, it already has a built-in issue because the programmer or the architect of the computer can't divide by 0. Because the architect of the computer can't divide by 0, then your computer can't be programmed to divide by 0. So whatever the computer or the calculator can't do, whatever the computer or the calculator cannot do, whatever it cannot do, humans can do. Humans cannot. Whatever the calculator or the accounting device, whatever the computer can't do, whatever the calculator cannot do, then humans cannot do. So you inherit the shortcomings, the limitations, and the errors from the computer. Because this is equal to error. And this is equal to limitation. So then we would like to correct error, or do some error correction, as they say in computer lingo today, error correction. And then we would also like to expand limitations or limits, expand limits. Okay? We would like to correct errors and expand limits. So then this will be fixing the two things that's right here that the calculator cannot do, that limits humans. By correcting errors and expanding the limits, we would correct errors in humans and expand the limits in humans. We would correct the errors in the calculator and expand the limits in the calculator. And we would improve upon the mathematics and the knowledge of mathematics. We would expand the actual mathematical laws, axioms, maxims, and proofs. We would actually expand it. So that's a beautiful thing. So that's what new mathematics is all about. New mathematics is about error correction and limitation expansion. Limit expansion. Okay? Error correction and limit expansion. Error correction and limit expansion. That's what we're about. Error correction and limit expansion for who and for what? For humans who cannot. And for calculators or devices who cannot. We would like to expand the limits on both of those, and we would like to correct the errors for both of those. And using a new language called new mathematics. And that new language, with this new numerics, numbers, numerals, it'll be able to help us grow towards a quantum computer, quantum process, quantum tetrahedral thinking. That's our goal, is to reach the point where we can again tetrahedral think, where we can again quantum process. So in order to expand the new computers, in order to be compatible, in order to be compliant, and that's the words I was looking for yesterday when I was talking about education and edification of students and stuff. I was looking for compatible and compliant. New mathematics is both compatible and compliant with current mathematics. New mathematics is both compatible and compliant with current mathematics. This new number line is both compatible and compliant with the traditional number line. We repeat, this new number line is both compatible and compliant with the traditional number line. New mathematics is compatible and compliant with all current curriculum and all current academia. New mathematics is changed, but new mathematics is changed for the better and the improvement of all humanity, and the improvement and the enhancement of all devices. So this is what this is about. This is a humanitarian effort. However, it's being directed towards you, a specific person, a specific human being on the planet Earth, the original human being, the first mathematician, the first scientist, the first technologist, the first engineer, the first mathematician. So then, as we look at science, technology, and engineering, it has reached a halt because it doesn't have the proper mathematics in order to step into the quantum field. It doesn't have the proper mathematics to step into the Aquarian age, from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age. So what we're doing here is we're moving us from one age into the next. What we're doing here is bringing from one world order to a true new world order. And not new as in new, but new as in new. A new world order. So we have in store a lot of mathematics, a lot of things for you. So what we would like for you to really learn from all of this is that the main reason for us telling you this is for you to support this, is for you to contribute and donate to this. Because we can't do the things that we're telling you about without the proper funding. We played a video, we showed a video, and everybody watched and listened to it, and it was about funding basic research, funding basic, fundamental, and foundational research. And that's what you're looking at the product of. Basic, foundational, and fundamental research. You're looking at that type of work that's come to fruition. And now that it's to the point of fruition, and we would like to further perfect this mathematics and further grow this mathematics and continue to create new mathematics, because the height of knowledge has never been reached. So we would like to leave our children with something truly worthy of study and research, as opposed to the same old thing that we're used to them doing, which is the same thing we learn. It's time for a new way, y'all, and this is it. So that's what one of the main things we would like for you to know, is that we need your support. We need your contributions, your donations, in time and money, to help us make this happen. Okay? So back to the mathematics. So you see, when we alienate n, alienate n equals 1. And the reverse inverse, 1 times n equals n. And so n times n equals n. But I showed you where over here this becomes a problem. 0 divided by 0 equals nu. So now this is a problem, because any number, alienate any number, is not 1. Because this number is 1 and this number is nu. And as we showed last shadow hour, 1, negative 1 is here, and 1 is here. And nu is here. So nu is not 1, and negative 1 on the traditional number line is here, and negative 1 and positive 1 on the traditional number line is here. So those two ones are not nu. So nu is its own number, which is 0 divided by 0 equals nu. So this number n can't extend to 0 because of that. And because of that inability to expand the limits to 0, that number is called undefined. Undefined. That number is called undefined because these n's right here can't extend over to 0. They can't. It's a no-no. They can't do it. No. They can't do that. They're not supposed to extend over. So then n does not go to 0. But now that we can bring n all the way over into the domain of 0, we can bring n, which is 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So we can bring n all the way over to 0. All the way over to 0. Now, we can bring it all the way over to 0 now. But as you see, if we bring it all the way over to 0, we still haven't brought it over to nu. But we have expanded mathematics over to 0 though. We have expanded mathematics over to 0 because prior to this, this was nothing. This was the state of hydrogen, right? The way we'll explain that is that this, I keep wanting to put my foot right here. This is the state of hydrogen as when they first found out that they had hydrogen 1 and then hydrogen 2, H2O, but they didn't know that there was a H0. They didn't know that there was a pre-hydrogen, that there was a particle lighter than hydrogen. And it was still hydrogen, but it wasn't this hydrogen. This hydrogen here was hydrogen, but it had not formed completely. What I mean by had not formed completely is that here you have, let's say, electrons. Okay, you have electrons. And here you have what we'll call the nucleus. That's the sacred symbol of all time, by the way. So we'll have the nucleus. And then here we will have electrons. These E's, right? We will have these E's, electrons, going around. When we showed this. But we have these electrons going around. And so these electrons will basically encircle this nucleus. So inside this nucleus, now let's do this first. The first thing to form was the nucleus. The next thing to form was the electrons around it. The next thing to form was the proton with the electron. And then the next thing to form was the neutron. Okay? So then we'll say that this is the neutron, the proton, the electron, and the nucleus. N1, E2, P3, and N4. Okay? So now, these 4 parts being combined in here, before this grew a neutron, we'll say, before it grows a neutron, before it grows this is still a particle, and this is still hydrogen. This is proton, pre-hydrogen. This is pre-hydrogen. This is hydrogen in its growth stage. It's growing towards H1. When it develops the nucleus, it'll become H1. But prior to that, it's not 1. It's 0. Okay? So now it's pre-hydrogen. It's before 1. It's before you have a nucleus, electron, a proton, and a neutron. So now, it's another hydrogen. Before you grow P, a proton, it's a hydrogen just composed of that right there, of the nucleus and an electron. So then, before you grow an electron, there's a hydrogen just composed completely of nothing but a nucleus. And this is another stage of hydrogen in its growth. Okay? So then, this is as far as they go with hydrogen. This is as far as they go now. Is because we can take them from 1 to 0 to the nucleus. But remember, this is the nucleus. It's like 1. It's not new. It's like 1. It's not new. 1 is here. New is here. So even when we get here, we still haven't arrived here. So now, what we want to show, and this is very important, because in mathematics, one of the things is that people win Nobel Peace Prizes for, people win physics prizes for, Fields Medal Awards, Cambridge, whatever, Berkeley, Yale, Princeton. One of the things they earn these veritas, emeritus, and all these different things like this. And, we won't go on. But one of the reasons why they earn all these awards and rewards and medals and trophies and rings and watches is because when you're trying, like mathematics, it's not given a medal like that in another field. So always mathematics has to relate to something in the real world. And that was one of the arguments between new, and new, between basic, fundamental, and foundation. Okay, that was one of the differences between this. So, and you know, you can always add primary to this. Primary. Some people add elementary. You know, you can add words to that. You know, so since we're about 4, we'll keep the primary. We'll keep the primary. But you can add elementary, anything you want there, really. So, well, we'll keep primary. So primary, basic, fundamental, and foundational. Now, so then, but you have also what they call pure mathematics, and you have applied mathematics. And you have also computational number theory and stuff like that. But what we're talking about here is the pure mathematics and applied mathematics. So you have pure mathematics, and we'll call our form of pure mathematics just mathematics for the sake of knowledge, for the sake of knowing, just for the sake of knowledge. Just pure mathematics is mathematics for the sake of correct, for the sake of being right and correct. Expanding knowledge and correct. Expansion and correction. Correction of errors, right? Correction of errors and expansion of limits. That's what pure mathematics would be about. Pure mathematics would be the correction of errors and expansion of limits. That would be pure mathematics. Now, applied mathematics would be actually what we'll say. It's kind of like a patent and intellectual property, and then the actual device, the actual invention. You see what I'm saying? Intellectual invention, intellectual property, invented property, and you know, ideas, inventions, the innovation, the novelty, the novel, you know, like that. So then you have that. So you have that kind of interplay between pure and applied, like the thesis and the antithesis, if you will. So, and then so you get this thing where you got this knowledge, but you have this applied area. So this applied area represents an actual physical thing. It's not just knowledge, because this is mental. This is almost spiritual. This is like ideas. This is like inventive. This is like creative. This is like the seeds of everything there is. This is what we're asking you to find. Now, this, of course, grows into this on this side. It does. This is a mere reflection of what this is. Everything here is reflected over here. Just like things come from the mental plane and are reflected into the physical plane, then everything here is reflected over there. Everything here is reflected over here. So yes, this side is an outgrowth of this side. This is like a seed, and this is like the leaves on the tree and the fruit that it bears. So this will be the fruit. But this is the actual seed, the roots, the tree, the branches, everything there, including the leaves. And when the fruit ready to fall and they ripe, that's where we apply the mathematics. But everything has to be done here. The planting of the seed, the sowing, the harvesting, the reaping, you know what I'm talking about. Everything got to be done over here, in the mental, in the dark, and then it can come to the light. So, applied mathematics, when you look at things like I mentioned on the video we played, when you look at things like an Apple phone or an iPad or a Samsung Galaxy or, you know, even a Texas Instrument calculator or a Nokia, anything you got, any kind of device you got, when you look at those devices, those where those manifested from here and they became an application. The utilization, we big on words. So the utilization of this, because we have to use right knowledge. We have to utilize right knowledge. We got to use it. We got to use it and apply it. So this is the utilization of it. We say, okay, we take the mathematics that we know, new mathematics. So then, but the first thing people ask is, how do we apply it? No, the first question should be, what problems does new mathematics solve? It shouldn't be, how is it applied? The first question should be, what questions does new mathematics answer? What problems does new mathematics solve? And the answer to that is, new mathematics provides new knowledge and new information. So we could write information in there. We could write info in there. Information. Because it's information. Information. It's informative and it's information. It's in order. It's aesthetic. So we provide new knowledge, new information, new corrections to errors, and new expansion of limits. That's what we provide. So yes, we do answer questions. That's unanswered questions, unsolved problems. So that's what new is about. Undefined, we solve it. We define it, we answer it. That's an unsolved problem. We correct problems. We answer questions about mathematics. We resolve issues. We solve paradoxes. We solve several paradoxes on this show. And we wish and we pray that the Most High moves in people, that they'll participate with us the way we see them participate in other shows. Now, we don't have the fancy thing, the mic and all that, where we can actually see all the questions and stuff. We understand that, but you can participate by pressing like. You can participate by subscribing to our YouTube, at least helping us monetize our situation if you ain't going to donate. It's a simple like. You watch the video, like the information so that we can move forward. At least help us in any way you can. You see, in any way you can. That's all we have. So this is what we provide for the public, for humanity. The utilization of right knowledge, the utilization of this information, the correction and expansion. And so, of devices. Now, this the correction. Let's say this right though. This the correction. We're gonna write expansion right here. This the correction of errors, right? And devices or hardware. This is also the correction of errors and or in apps, application, apps, like you have apps on phone, apps, and software. So it's knowledge and information for the correction of errors in devices or hardware and errors in apps and software. For those errors right there. It's for these errors right there. And so then we could say something similar about expansion. Expansion is the expansion of limit or limitation. And these limits, let's do that right. Let's mix that. And these limits relate to the expansion of device hardware, as well as apps, software. But also, they relate to the expansion of humanity, the minds of humanity, the ideas of humanity, the inventions of humanity, and the correction of humanity. The correction of humanity. So this is really where new mathematics, indigenous aesthetic, mathematics, and linguistics. This is really our real. This is really our. You looking at the foundations and the fundamentals of what new mathematics is based on. This is what we're based on. We're based on universal order, universal law, aesthetics, beauty, all things complete. No incompleteness theory. Okay? No need for everything theory. So we need your help with this. How look at this vision. Now on the other hand, this primary, basic, fundamental, and foundational mathematics, it changes the very laws in foundational mathematics. Look, 0 divided by 0 equals nu. N divided, which is, and I can leave that there because that's a law. That breaks the law of this. This expands this over to this. So now n can reach over to 0, and that law now is broken. That law is not true. So you have to limit n to just being on this side of 1. You can take n, you have to limit it to this side of 1 because you can take n to 0. But now you can take n to 0. Now you can take n over to 0, and you can say 0 divided by 0. And thus, when you arrive at that answer, you can take n over to nu. 0 divided by 0 equals nu. Okay? So then, I was just going to point out this not being a negative 0, but yet it being different than this 0 and different than this 0. Okay? So that's how those things will look. So just at the very foundations, everything changed. No answer to n divided by 0? Yes, we do. It's on. And it's a real number. It's 0n is on. 0n is on. We have a number for that. So things like that will change. Things like that will change. Like 1. 1 times any number equals n. It equals that number. And n times 1 will always equal n. Not so fast, though. Not so fast. Not with new mathematics. Because 1 times nu equals 1. And nu times 1 equals 1. Equals 1. So, there is a number times 1 where 1 acts like n. Because when you multiply 1 times anything, it equals that number. But when you multiply 1 times nu, it does not equal nu. It does not equal that number. It equals 1. So this number is the identity of 1. So now you know the identity of number 1. And with on, you know the identity of 0. So all of this, I'm just running all this together so you can see the scope. I want you to get a scope for the mathematics. So all of that, combine all of that and more into the fact that all of that knowledge and all that information is missing from your mathematics and from your calculators and computers, and therefore it's missing from your mind and your intellect. And you could be using it as a part of your IQ, your intellectual quotient. You could be using it as a part of your AI, artificial intelligence. You could be using that as a part of your KI, your knowledge and information. You could be using this. You could be using right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding, and sound right reasoning. You could be using that. You could be utilizing that. The utilization. Right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding, and sound right reasoning, not applied, is a vain and wicked thing. That's a vain and wicked thing. If you don't use it and apply it, it's a vain and wicked thing. We have to learn how to apply right knowledge in our lives. And we have to stop questioning what that is. We have to stop questioning who brings that knowledge. We have to start accepting the fact that we're running out of time. And we done been sent every kind of sign, every kind of person, every kind of thing to warn us and to show us that, hey, you don't know it all. The meekest person, the humblest person, the lowest person can tell you something. They can teach you something. You should listen. Those are my people. Yet every time those people get kicked down, beat down in the street, you abuse. Okay? So I'm saying to you that we, you know who I'm talking to, all of y'all. We should build something. We should do something. We should leave our mark on the beast instead of letting the beast leave his mark on us. We can do something. We empowered. We can do something. We have a project. We have a plan. We have a purpose. We have a reason in the matrix. Okay? So now, where do we go from here? So we have changed by dealing on the primary level, dealing with primary things, elementary particles, elementary things. We have changed the basics, and the basis, elementary particles, elementary, and the basis for the basics. And the fundamental, we can already see mental, and foundational, we can already see the ground. We can already see the land, the landscape, the whole landscape of mathematics, the whole mind state of mathematics, the whole basics and basis of mathematics, the whole primary reason and primary purpose for elementary mathematics and teaching in the first place will all change and will all be expanded and corrected by way of new mathematics. That's what you're supposed to see here in this shower. That's what you're supposed to see from these presentations. That's what we are speaking to you. That's what we are trying to scream to you loud and clear. That this is what's happening before your eyes. Invest in your own mindset. Invest in your, not mindset, mind state. Invest in that before that mind state is a set. Becomes a mindset, like a numeral set, like a numeric set. Before that becomes a set. Don't invest in this. Okay? Even if you don't know what I'm talking about, invest in us. You know, in the scriptures, when it say Revelations, when it reads, buy gold for me, 3:18, buy gold for me. Invest in this, please. This is real gold. This is why the gold and the money is not backed by gold in the first place. This is how that was able to happen. Not knowing this mathematics. Had you kept this mathematics and remembered this mathematics, then it wouldn't have been so. But nevertheless, the Most High is forever gracious and merciful. Papa, thank you for the love. The Most High is forever gracious and merciful, beneficent and merciful. And we have been given an opportunity to recognize our tests, our fitness. We have been given an opportunity to recognize who we are and where we fail, and our opportunity to repent and turn back and to correct ourselves. Remember, that's where the true man and the true woman is. The true man and the true woman is one who has the ability to correct themselves, one who corrects themselves in a timely fashion, one who rushes live to correct themselves. You see? That's where the true man and the true woman is. So we say, I'm going to watch the man, I'm going to watch the woman. There's separation from any man or any woman, because you, when you watch the man and when you watch the woman, that you are As-Salihim. You're one of those who work to fix things, one of those who work to perfect themselves. You see that? So that's what it's all about, and that's what we're about. We're about fixing things and working to perfect ourselves. And through mathematics and through understanding the deeper inner workings of mathematics, we begin to understand the deeper inner workings of ourselves. See, when we say know thyself, when we say that, then we will have to know this kind of mathematics. Otherwise, we think we know ourselves and we're right here. See, most of us, we think we know ourselves, but we are number one. But as we know, everything here is a second. The smallest unit is a second. And just like hydrogen we showed was H1, which is really going to wind up being H2, because you have an H0 and all those other forms of hydrogen. Then you have this type of paradigm going on, where you have two on the plane you are. And you think in the mental you're on one, but you really on two on the plane. On the plane you're on, the planet you're on two, but you really think you're on one. And so when we do arrive at one, right, you begin to understand zero. See, this is, you understand one. Now, you overstand two. Now, you understand zero. And now you overstand one. You see that? So that's how you move. So you understand, then you overstand. Then you understand, then you overstand. understand and you overstand. But you're always ruled by the plane above you. You see, that's what this book is for. See that book? The Sacred Wisdom of Tahu. You see how my book looks? Ramshackle. This book was given to me by a great sister by the name of Iris. Dr. York gave her this book. Yep. She gave it to me on my land in Blakely, Georgia, in Polomoki Mound, Georgia, in Early County. Yep, 19 miles outside Damascus. Yep, on 181.5 acres. Yep, 361 and up. She gave me this book. She came to my land and she gave me this book. Let me see. Right here, see? It reads to Iris. From the master teacher, see that? To Iris. It's dated and everything. What's the date on it? 4/13/01. 4/13/2001. The master teacher, the supreme grand master, the supreme grand hurricane, the supreme grand potentate, the supreme one. There he is, y'all. All eyes shall see and know him. The man of the hour. So, let me see. So this is what we're supposed to be building, y'all. We're supposed to be building a new Tamaray. But before we get into the book, let's get back popping over here. So this is what we're doing. This is what we're talking about. This is what new mathematics is about expanding. See, we want to be Dr. Malachi York. He taught us about being vivid and taught us about being vague. We are very vivid people. So here you go. That's it in lights and in color. Now you see how pure mathematics is taken up the board, and applied mathematics is just the fruit and the leaves off the tree. It's just the fruits of our labor. It's hard to even write what applied mathematics is now, because there's really no such thing. All mathematics come from basic and foundational mathematics. That's why even now they've invented a field of mathematics called number theory, because of the simple fact of this. Because number theory is the study of just the basic study of numbers, because that's what's not understood by these people. It's the basic workings and inner workings of numbers. But you thinking that you have a working numerical system and it's not in place. It is now my minus alienate add time. My ancient ancestors taught order. My ancient ancestors taught order. And that order stands for order of operations. That's the order of all these operations. My ancient ancestors taught orders of operation. They taught the orders of operation. And that's what you're being reminded of right now. And so we see these different forms of hydrogen that we can have, these growths of hydrogen. But yet that's still hydrogen on some scale, because it's growing into hydrogen. Everything grows. Nothing is truly created, right? This is right knowledge. It only grows. So what they call creation is growth. What they call evolution is merely mutation. That's it. Evolution is a mutation. Creation is growth. And they both meet at change. Okay? Let me get that door. Hey, Mama. Hey, Mama. I'm doing a lot of change. How you going, yeah. Okay. Get some water here. Now, so new mathematics starts with primary or elementary study of numbers, numerals, numerics, mathematics. Basic mathematics, our basic program is that we start with the basics. We build a basis for this. But our basis, when we say basis, let me show you the four aspects of our basis. Our basis is like this right here. I know we said we can't create, but our form of creation is growth. So we understand that? So we create. We grow something new. Just like the nucleus grew a proton, grew an electron, grew a proton, grew a neutron, and formed hydrogen, it grew, it created, self-created. So then we grow, we create. Nuwapu grows, Nuwapu creates, Nuwapu grows, Nuwapu creates. If it does not grow and if it does not change, it is dead. Okay, so we are alive. Nuwapu is a living, breathing science. Say it. Breathe in. Say it again. Nuwapu is a living, breathing language. Science and everything else. Mathematics, magnetics. So, we have to first create. We have to first create. Then, once we create, we can challenge. Once we challenge, we can compete. I know some people say, oh, we're supposed to be in competition. Be quiet. Let me explain. Create, challenge, compete. Then the next one, we can conquer or we can champion. We can champion. We can champion change. And all of this equates to change. So when they had the slogan for the last election, the one before the last, and they had change, when our brother put change, it was prophetic. Because he was prophesying that we would have change. When George Bush, when Barack Obama said change, there you go. When George Bush, old Bush, when they talked about the New World Order, they were right. They were right. They were New World. We'll erase that. We'll remember. We got brains. We'll remember. New World Order. So yeah, we know what the New World Order is. It's going to be this order, or no order. New World Order. This is the revolution. This is the revolutionary forces of non-ether at work. These are the revolutionary forces of non-ether. These are the revelationary forces. Revelations, revelationary forces that were prophecy to come. These are the New World Order. This is the new one world order. Because new is equal to one. So this is the new one world order. So we can write new one world order there. So we'll all know that to be the fact. It's the new one world order, and that completes our four. So it's the new one, and new is the new one. See, new is the new one. So it's the new one world order. So we might as well get our t-shirts and our hats and get our marks, because that's what's going down. That's the seal of the Most High, the new one world order. We are not afraid. We have things to do, and we must introduce our new mathematics. We must introduce something into this system in order to change the way it's going, or else it's not going to be good in our favor. The future is not looking good for us. Okay? So then we have change. Let's erase this too then. Now that we have. And then we get a clean napkin. I don't know how that looks. Okay, so now change, create, challenge, compete, champion. So we would like to, and we have, what you see here is the creation of curriculum and academia. So on top of the error corrections and expansion of devices and humanity, expanding the minds of humanity, the software, the hardware, apps, all of that, the knowledge and information, all of that, despite all of that, Outside of all of that, it being pure. And outside of that, turning into inventions, and the inventions that we can talk about, starting with quantum computers, quantum processing, tetrahedral thinkers, just all the inventions that we could talk about that we've already talked about. And even the prediction of particles, which is one of the things I was going to tell you about. In order to get one of those medals, in order to get one of those awards, some people, or most people, have to translate that mathematics and the language into some other language in another field of mathematics. It could be in any field, but it appears that it has to be translational from the field of just pure mathematics over to some applied mathematics type of state. And that's not really fair to me, because all of the work went into making up the mathematics. And now the person is, in order to get any type of recognition, they press to relate that mathematics to something else. And I just feel like, kind of like prime numbers. You see, this is one of the best examples of that. They were purely created out of number theory. They were just numbers that were found in a pattern. But later on, they were found to be useful in cryptography. And now they're the backbone of banking, money, emails, and messages, and measures, and scales, and anything like that. They're the backbone of that. So, in protecting the internet security and online protection, and the World Wide Web of humanity, that's at stake here. So, new mathematics is involved in that. New mathematics is involved in the internet security, encryption, online protection, binary and primary numbers, prime numbers, binary and primary numbers, prime numbers. So new mathematics has patterns and predictions and patternizations and predictions for the distribution of those numbers. We have patternizations, we have predictions, we have positions, and what else? Patternizations, predictions, positions, and something else we have for those numbers. But it's always 4. But we have those 4 for those numbers, for prime numbers. That means that I'm gonna erase this now. New world order, new one world order, revolutionary. I'm gonna erase this. Okay. Okay. And so when I say we have, when I say we have a patternization, a patternization is key in the root pattern. That means that we have a pattern for, let's say, prime numbers. So we have a pattern for prime numbers, which are the backbone of banking. So then this leads to the production. So that means that we can produce prime numbers. We have a way of manufacturing, producing prime numbers. We have a technique, a method, a formula, a way of producing prime numbers. So we can pattern prime numbers and we can produce prime numbers. We have a formula, technique, and a way of writing prime numbers out in a pattern, in a pattern like 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, in a series, in a sequence. So we have that ability to write prime numbers that way. So that means we have a power over prime numbers. We can produce prime numbers in using algorithms and using certain equations. So then that means we have a power over prime numbers. We know the production of prime numbers, it starts right here. So we know the production and the source of prime numbers. So we can produce prime numbers. So we have patternization and production of prime numbers. And then on top of that, we are able to predict. We had a prediction of prime numbers. So we can predict prime numbers. That means that we can say, like, the next prime number will be this, or the next prime number will be that. Okay? We're able to say this now. Nobody on the planet Earth, you can Google it, you can look it up. Nobody on the whole planet Earth can do none of what we're talking about. Nobody can do none of it. And the reason why that's important is because it shows you the importance of what we have here and what we can use it for. If we're the only ones with it, then it empowers us. it empowers us. There is power in numbers. We could take a real position in the world. But my wife, BASTET, she told me, she said, look, we're going to do this no matter what. So don't spend no time on talking to people about helping or assisting us or anything. Just put out the mathematics, and when you do get it done, you'll be able to say and see the people who helped and the people that didn't help. And on top of that, the people that have helped will be the ones that's rewarded with the real information, and the people that stay to the side will become workers or employees for us same people. And I agree. So now we have patternization, production, prediction, and then we have position. So we can posit a prime number. We can say its position using these coordinates, using this coordinate and that coordinate, its position to be here on the number line. Its position to be here on the graph. Its position to be here in the vector. Its position to be here in space. Okay? We can say that with the mathematics that we're using. Okay? So that's a powerful, powerful position to be in, pun intended. So to be able to prophesy and predict, to be able to produce and make, form, shape, color, and to be able to put in a pattern, to be able to link, to be able to ether, to be able to quintuplicate, to be able to pull apart, to be able to thread, to be able to knit. We talked about knit. Now we can talk about knit, mother knit, the knitter. Knit means to knit or to weave, like string theory, like waves, weave, wave, particle, knit, unit, knit, particle, unit, knit, particle, wave. This is your real science. This is what you truly know about Egypt. So when people go around and tell you that the Neteru or the Neteru were this, that, and the other, and they try to define them for you, don't listen to that. I was going to say listen to it, but don't listen to it, because don't listen to lies. It's lies. Every time the question is asked, define nature, define medu, define medu nature, define that. That's the beginning of everything. That's the beginning of the glyphs, hieroglyphs, whatever you want to call it. It's the beginning of it. It's the name of it. Define that. And then I'll accept some other stuff that you might say. But define the word medu nature. Define the word medu nature. Define that word for us. And I hope I'm not too loud. But define the word medu nature for us, because I get excited on stuff like this. Define the word medu nature. I get excited when we cut off lies. You know that's our job. We're supposed to cut off lies. We use the baina and the furqan, the tongue, the two-edged sword, the baina and the furqan. And we use that to cut off lies. So that's what we're about. So that's Mother Knit, or the knitter, the knit, the unit. And at Bohemian Grove, it tells the weaver to stay away. Tell the spider woman to stay away. And that's why. Because of this mathematics here. But at Bohemian Grove, they're in trouble now. You have your mathematics goddesses. Mother, peace. Thank you for the love. You have your mathematics goddesses. You have your mathematics back, Maya. All of the mothers, you have your mathematics back. It's been returned. It's time to utilize it and apply it. Okay? Now, so this prime number, having patternization, having the production, having the prediction, having the position, quantum, 1, 2, 3, 4, always. Having this quintuplicated, always having this, we can use this prize now. We can use this to encrypt, encode, encipher, I know, we linguists, and encircle. This is what we're going to use this for, okay? We're going to use this to encircle the current mathematics. See, in order to be outside of it, we got to put everything that's known in here. So we could be here. Okay? That's what we want to be. We don't want to be here. We don't want to be here. We want to get outside of here. And then we'll send thoughts in there. We'll project thoughts in there. We'll correct all this. We'll fix all that. But we can't fix it standing there. We got to get outside of it. So we got to put ourselves, we got to think about it. We got to live at a higher standard in order to fix it. In order to reach down and fix it, we got to step up out of the solution. And then that's the only way we can fix it, to become the solver. So we got to step outside of this solution and become the solver. You see that? So by having this will allow us to get into encryption, encoding, and deciphering, or enciphering, and circling, or decircling. We can get into all that, circling the square. We can get into that and into computing and into all those fields of whatever you want to get into, making products, making, computer products, making household products, everything, making tires, everything is applicable. I even talked about tires and how you could make a rounder tire using new mathematics. If you use new mathematics, you can make a better tire. You can make a rounder tire. So then on this tire, less tire hits the road. So on the regular tire, it's sort of flat. So more of the tire hits the road. But with new mathematics, less of the tire hits the road. So that's what happens. So with this less of the tire hits the road, that means less wear and tear. This tire is going to wear the tread faster than this tire, because this tire has less on the road than this tire. So this tire rides on a circle, and this tire rides on something else. This tire is safe to drive and will prevent accidents. And this deflated tire will cause accidents and is unsafe to drive. So once we develop this new circle, as opposed to this old circle, and we won't do it that way, we'll say new as in this way, N-E-W now, works all right. So the new circle as opposed to the old circle, or the new wheel as opposed to the old wheel, then we'll be improving that too. So this is applied mathematics. This is applied, okay? We can do that. We showed the other night. We'll just do it with 4 bits, but it can be 16 bits, it can be 258 bits, it can be 512 bits, it can be 1,024 bits, it can be 2,048 bits, it can be 4,090 whatever bits. Okay, 98 bits. But what we're looking at is this right here. If we have a 4-bit computer, 1, 0, 1, 0. Let's say I got 4 bits. So then, really, in this computer, we can only use 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. We don't get the 4 bits. We're only using, really, the 3 parts, because you only got these 3 spaces. You can only link from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here. That's only 3 links. That's not 4 links. So in order to expand this, if you had a number like 0 and new that came naturally along with these numbers, then you will automatically expand this to, see that? So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, right? And so this space Now, I could show you if we had a PowerPoint, but this space right here, basically this new wraps around here. It's like a clock. So this is a circle. This is a bit. So a bit makes a circle like a coin. It makes a ring. It makes a ring in the computer like a string. It's a string. It's a wave, but it makes a ring. So then this becomes one cipher. That's why it's called decipher, decode, decrypt, because this becomes a cipher of its own. So then this becomes a space where information can be held on that 4 bit. But it can be held in 3 spaces on that. So it's really like 3 spaces or 3 bits. But here you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits. And so now, just like your hand, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits, a digit, then you can get 1, 2, 3, 4 bits. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4 bits. So when you expand with on and new, then you have the ability to expand the computer. So it's just that simple. So when people are looking for a way in which this could be expanded, that's it. That's one of the ways. Just had to pop up right there. That's one of the ways. The tire is another applicable way. The curriculum. So we gotta have that up there too, right? We gotta definitely put that up there. So now, we about to do it right here. We're about to do it right here. So this is that big explanation. Okay? So now we're gonna erase that. Now the things you're learning right here, you couldn't even learn in a high-level computer class. You can learn this nowhere on the planet. You can go to no school, no library, nowhere online, no lodge, no church, no university, nowhere, and find this information right here. This information is truly divinely inspired. Okay, so now you have change. But that's basically the quintuplication of it. It's kind of like prime. It's the quintuplication of this. Change is like the quintuplication of that. 1 is to create. That's our first step. We're going to change in the end. It's going to become a loop. Just like this. Our secret was primes, and our primes in the end. So our secret is the champion change. The change is going to be there in the end. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. So this right here. So when we create, now what would we like to create? What would we like to create? We would like to create curriculum and academic. We want to create a curriculum and academic. Now, why is this important? Why would it be divinely inspired? And then why would it be divinely inspired and that divine inspiration come in the form of curriculum and academic? Because it is. Because it's pure knowledge and information. It's pure knowledge and information. So if it's pure knowledge and information, then it will relate to how you disperse knowledge and information. And you disperse knowledge and information through your curriculum and your academic. So we have to create new knowledge and new information, a new curriculum and academia in order to deal with the attack that we to deal with the religious attack that we're under, to deal with the political attack that we're under, the societal attack that we're under, the genocidal attack that we're under, you know, the homicidal attack that we're under, the suicidal attack that we're under, the fratricidal attack that we're under, the patricidal attack, all the cytals we're under. So in order to battle that, in order to battle these forces, these adverse forces, we have to create a curriculum and academia. If we're going to battle the church and the state, if we're going to battle the church, C-R-U-C-H, the church, that's the R, y'all, church and the state, if we're going to battle the church and the state, if we're going to redo those institutions, we're going to fix it. If we're going to create our own, then if we're going to do that, then we can't be a church, we can't be a state, we can't be into government, we can't be into religion. We have to be about curriculum and academia. We got to be about thinking. We got to change the mind state, not the state, but the mind state. We got not the church, but the state. We got to change that. Okay, so that's what that's about. Now, challenge. Who we gonna challenge? We want to challenge the system. Challenging the system. We challenging the standards. Because the system says that you can't divide by zero. The system blocks us out. This information gets blocked out from the system. So we have to fix the system. The system, let me tell you something about what IAML cares about. My cares. This is one of our initiatives. This goes into the system. This is built into the system and the standards. What happens is when you take a child that's in a low income or low employment area, then this child's struggles to school become different than any other child that has those resources and things in place. Especially when a child is missing a parent or something like that, then it becomes especially special that this child get the necessary help to compensate for what's missing on his or her way out the door to school, other things. I remember when I was young, I had to do a lot of stuff. You know, it was a lot of us, 12. So it's a lot of stuff I had to do, a lot of stuff I had to learn. And it's a lot of stuff I had, and it's a lot of stuff I had to go without. But one of the things is that with that many people in the house, no matter what I had or no matter what I didn't have, my struggle was different than anybody else trying to get to school. Trust me, my struggle was different. My struggle to go to sleep was different in a house with 12 people and 3 other brothers in the one room with me than your struggle at your house. And they're older than me. You see? And one of them younger than me. So things like that. So when our children struggle this way in low income and low employment areas, it affects them. It kind of goes down. It runs downhill, if you will. And so only way to school down the hill, it just travels with it. There's just more things in the way because in that area is more low income and depressing and suppressing things to look at. And it's less uplifting than maybe even your home or your house or apartment. And so then as they travel further and get into school, they enter the environment where, you know, other people have made it to school or in other fashions, you know, in other safe ways, you know, cleaner ways, you know, to school. And they recognize that, but it's not voiced because they're not able to say these things outright. They're too young, but they see them, they recognize them, but they're not able to express them all the time. And so the same children, male or female, that movie, they go to school and they are given the same tests, they require the same thing. They require to stay awake. They require to be just as attentive. They require to sit down and be in a seat. They require to do the same thing when no matter what was happening in the house the night before, no matter what the uncle was doing, the auntie was doing, no matter who was playing music, no matter who was smoking crack, no matter who was doing this or that, no matter what was happening, a child is still required to perform at the level of other children and passing out that. And so these are the things that concern IAML. You know, IAML is concerned with that because economics and employment are directly tied to education and environment. Okay? So economics and employment are directly tied to education and edification. Okay? So when we are able to employ ourselves by utilizing new mathematics, we have created new jobs. We need teachers of new mathematics. We need people that can perform animations for new mathematics, graphics for new mathematics. We need programmers of calculators and computers for new mathematics. We need designers of computers and hardware for new mathematics. We need textbook writers for new mathematics. We need invention makers, draftsmen. We need researchers, developers. We need thinkers, processors. We have a way of life. We have a way in which we could build on a way of life. And it's not religion. And it's not the state. And we're not forced to do it. It's do it yourself. Nobody can tell you you can't count this way. That's ridiculous. You waiting on somebody to tell you how to count if you know better? Seriously? Now you'll jump up about everything else in the street. If somebody put your hat on wrong, you mad about it. Somebody cut your hair wrong, you mad about it. Somebody turn the lights on wrong, slam the door wrong, you mad about it. Somebody do anything wrong, you mad about it. You need to fix that, right? But when somebody use mathematics wrong, you ain't really that concerned. That's not your field. That ain't yours to fix. You ain't on that level. You ain't messing around to that degree. Da. I see you, but it ain't gonna work. It don't work like that. We need you. We need y'all to wake up from the spell, to wake up from being asleep, and really face the facts, and really face what's going on here. So here we go. So we want to create curriculum and academics, which is a battle against the church and the state. But we also want to challenge the systems and the standards, which is also a battle against the church and the state, because they set the system and the standards. They set that. So this is politics. So we got to reset this system and reset these standards. And so our system of mathematics, our standards of mathematics are much higher than the standards that they have. So back to that circle that we drew and being outside that circle, yes, that's our standards right there. We have a higher standard than that. So therefore we can reach down in here and we can fix that. We can fix things in the education system and we can edify people. So we can expand them. Okay? Teachers and students. Right. And so once we create curriculum and academic, and what we created is compared. So you can use another T here. If you don't like challenge, you can use compare. Our thing is being compared to theirs. We have to use the God mind in the sacred wisdom in this book right here. So who they call the God mind, the ego. Not the student mind. Get out of the student mind. The ego mind. Okay? It's the God mind, the mind of protection. The ego mind. So we say, hey, we have created something so great that we are ready now to challenge the current mathematics. We want to compare ours, what we have. We want to compare what we have to what's currently in place. That's all we want to do is compare it. And if we compare it, then we're in competition. That brings the competition. Because now you ask the question, which one is better? Which one is right? Which one is wrong? And at the competition place, we say, it's both compatible and compliant with all current mathematics. So even though we're in competition, what we're in competition with, what we're going to fix, still what we're adding on, what we're changing is still compatible and compliant with the current mathematics. So even though we're in competition, we only build it up. Okay? And then champion. So we got challenge and we got compete. So champion. And we said you can change that word to conquer if you wanted to. Conquer. We are going to conquer. And what we're going to conquer, our champion, we're going to champion education. We're going to champion education. We're going to bring a new world order into education. That's what champion means. We champion education. We're going to champion education. We're going to change. We're going to champion education. the education, and we can add a host of words here. We could say economics, we could say environment, we could say effects, we could say, employment. We're going to change education, economics. We're going to change the education environment. I prefer environment. We're going to change education and edification. We're going to change the educational environment. We're going to change that, the environment. So this is our plan. See, we have a plan. We have a strategy. We have a strategy. We're not just running out here, just going up against the 6 adverse forces with sticks and brooms and knives and bottle models. I ain't even got to mention. But, we're not doing that. This is an intellectual battle. This is a mental battle. This is a battle of words. This is the Armageddon, the battle of right against wrong. This is to see who will come join what's right. This is to see if the beast is willing to bow down to the truth, or will he be haughty in the face of the truth. This is the test. So we have to present this to the world. And then after we do all that, we want to change. So change becomes the loop, change becomes the circle, change becomes the loop, because this is a binary number, 0, 1. So now, all of a sudden in change, you get 0 over here. You get a 0, change. You get a 0, so that's 0, 1, 1, and you get 2, and then you get 3, and then you get 4, and then you'll have 0, like that 5th dimension. You'll have 0 right there, because that's 0, 1, and 0 are connected. The 0 and the 0, 1 are connected. Let me see what's the deal. Greeting. Okay, that was a mistake. So, all right, so now you have change, and you have change at 0, because remember I said the bees wrap around. Let me do this one more time. Rahubat. Yes. Greetings, love. Yeah, I think. Okay, well, I'm doing the live stream right now, so I can't do that right now. Okay, so call me back. I thought you were telling me something else. I love you. I ain't see what in. What do? Okay, y'all, I'm back. Okay, so now, remember I was saying that this and the 0 wrap around, they make a circle. So that's a here, not that. So now we at change. But we not only want to change the church and the state. We don't really want to change the church and the state. Change is building a new church and building a new state. And that's what the New World Order of Operations is about. That's what that's about. So we'll put that there. We'll put New World, New One World Order. That's what change is about. Change is about the New World One Order, the New One World Order of Operations. The New One World Order of Operations. The New One World Order of Operations. That's what our change is about. So now, you got it. Change is a new One World Order. And how do we start the New World One Order? The New One World Order of Operations? How do we change it? How do we start it? We start it by creating, by growing. What do we create? What do we grow from? We grow from the old. And what do we create? We create curriculum and academia. What's our next step? It's to challenge or compare. Compare what? Our curriculum and academia, what we created. Compare it to what? To the current education and the current standards, the current system. And once we compare it and we challenge it, what? We find out that we're in competition. We're asking the question now, which one is better? Who's better? And we say ours is better. Ours is better. We compete. Ours is compatible and compliant with yours, and you don't know about ours. So ours is better. So once we compete, we can champion. Champion what? We champion education in our environment. We change our economic situation and we change the environment, the environmental effects. So we say we champion. and we conquer. So we change the educational environment. We champion it. We conquer it. That changes it. And that's what we're talking about. And that's our plan. We get here, and once we reach here, this has connected. So we have made the new one world order. We have changed the education system without even having to go into the church or the state, without even considering the church or the state, without even looking at the church or the state. We don't have to tear down what others have, institutions. We don't have to tear theirs down. The lodges, the libraries, the online, the universities, whatever, the schools, whatever. We don't have to tear it down. The businesses, the buildings, we don't have to tear any of that down. Any of the power structure that's already in place, we don't have to tear it down. And we don't have to build on it. We merely have to build out and create our own. That's what we'll be doing here. We'll be creating our own. We'll be setting ourselves apart. We'll be raising the bar. We'll be setting a new standard, a higher standard. My higher standard. We'll be setting a higher standard. So that's what we have to do. So that's what that lesson is about. So this lesson was about us changing the whole education and economic and environmental effects on our people. It was about becoming a causation of the cause of the effect. To become the causation. We want to be the causation of the cause of the effect. And so then we have compliance and compatibility, so we can compete for the system and the standards, so we can raise them. So that our children, our economics and environment is directly affecting our children, their grades, their education is affected. So if we fix the education and we fix the economics, then we'll be doing both of them. And the way we propose that is by creating a curriculum, we create the demand for new textbooks and new teachers and new devices and new things. So therefore we can sustain our new education and our children, and we can sustain their environment, and therefore their grades will increase and improve, and they'll be empowered because their parents will be employed in the field of teaching them. You see that? Their parents will be employed in the field of teaching them. I'm gonna say it again because I see my computer keep timing out. So parents will be employed in the field of teaching and educating their own children and making a curriculum and academia for their own children and providing the schools and the new buildings that have come about from such a curriculum. Okay? From the academia and the new textbooks and the teacher's guides, not only textbooks, but also teacher's guide and instructional aids and all of the number lines and rulers and different things and mathematical tools and devices that have come about from using new mathematics. And not to mention this new world, or this new one world order, this new world order, this new change, all things. Because the whole, I make all things new. And this is the making of all things new. So then we no longer have to divide or separate the church or the state or even try to combine them. We just build our own edifice. We build our own edifice by way of our own edification under our own auspices. So under our own auspices, let's build new mathematics. I know this has to resonate with some people. Let's build new mathematics. So now, let's get another napkin. And I'm kind of talking slow and kind of talking methodical because I know the information, I can race through most of it. But that ain't what I want to do. I want to show you, I want to remind you. So even if I'm going too fast now, you can tell me, you can let me know. But this is a good rate, I think, for even for my children. When I teach them at this rate, at this tone, and in this pace, I talk to them like this. I say, so pure mathematics, knowledge, information, correction. I talk to them just like that. That's how we go through it. Okay? And we repeat it like that so that they can get it. And so now, I want to go ahead on and erase some of this because it's not really necessary no more. So the prime numbers, we talked about prime numbers. We talked about the importance of having a patternization for prime numbers. No one in the world has a patternization for prime numbers. New mathematics are the only people on the planet with patternization for prime numbers. Will you please help us to protect our intellectual property and to patent our inventions and our knowledge in order to utilize it in a correct way? We have a production for prime numbers, which requires the same kind of disclaimer and caveat. We need your help because we have valuable information and we would like to protect our information. The production of prime numbers is a very important thing like the patternization. No one knows it. The prediction of prime numbers. No one on the planet can predict prime numbers or predict prime numbers at all. No one can tell you if this number is prime based on any factors that they have. No one can tell you whether the number is prime or not. They can. Somebody can look at a number, and somebody can look at a number, and there's nothing you could do to tell you whether this number is prime or not. There's nothing you could do to tell you whether that number is prime or not. There's nothing you could do to tell you whether that number is prime or not. The only way you know whether this number is prime or not, you have to factor that number. You have to factor that number. And if you got to factor that number, that means that you have to go 1. Okay, I know 1, but 1 is not a prime. Then you got to go, is it divisible by 2? No. Is it divisible by 3? No. Is it divisible by 4? No. Is it divisible by 5? No. 6? No. 7? No. 8? No. 9? No. 10? No. 11? No. 12? No. Oh, it's not divisible by any number up to 13. Then I know it's prime. That's basically what you have to do. Now, if you got a fancy computer, then your fancy computer knows that if it's not a multiple of about half, then it's not going to be a prime number because all prime numbers are odd. So if it's not a multiple other than half, then it's not a prime number. And therefore, we can know to stop at the square root of the number. Once we reach the square root, we can stop. But otherwise, the computer will have to go into 12. But still, the computer in polynomial time is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to figure out something that's 13. It's got to do 12 steps to figure out something that's 13. And if not that, it's got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and maybe even 7 to just know that it's really past that 6 or 7 steps to know that it's 13. So the key to mathematics is how do we boil this down to, let's say instead of 6 steps, maybe let's say 5 steps or 4 steps, or maybe a 3-step or 4-step, or maybe a 2-step or 3-step, or maybe a 1-step or 2-step, or maybe even a 0 polynomial where we don't have to do anything, where we just know the answer to the question. Is 13 a prime? Yes. Is 13 a prime? I mean, is 14 a prime? No. Is 33 a prime? No. So if we had something like that could tell you no from the start whether or not that number was prime, that would be a powerful thing. You see, that would be a powerful thing. And that's what new mathematics is about. That's what knowing the patternization and the production and the position and the prediction of primes is about. Knowing the position and that and all of that about primes is knowing this position right here. And then so instead of going 12 to 13 to get to 13, you cut out all of these equations or polynomial algorithms. You cut out all of these algorithms, all 12 of those algorithms. You cut all of those algorithms out because now you know the answer. Because it's a problem in mathematics. And one day I'll go over. I ain't gonna do it justice right now because it's just not something that I plan on really talking about, and it's not something that I'm gonna get all the way into. But it's a problem called P versus N P. But it's good to talk about this because now you can look it up. P versus NP. And we'll call P polynomial. We'll just call that polynomial. That's not really what it means. It can say problem. You can say polynomial problem or problem, no problem. Problem, no problem. Polynomial, non-polynomial. Time, polynomial time. And polynomial is just a slick word for saying many numbers or many names. Polynomial is many names or many numbers. So you have to do it many times. You have to name it many times or number it many times in order to come up with the answer. So that's non-polynomial means you don't have to number it many times. You don't have to name it many times to come up with the answer. So non-polynomial. But polynomial means you have to name it many times, multiple times. So this could go from 0 times all the way. It can extend all the way from 0 to what you'll call infinity. It will match. And we shouldn't do that because that's kind of retarded. Because then it's still from infinity to 0 to infinity. Okay? So polynomial would extend from that to you. But to us now, it would extend to nu. So nu would be here. But that's a whole nother story. We don't have to worry about that. This is sufficient to show that polynomial could extend from anywhere from 0 to infinity in either direction. Now, non-polynomial time could extend from 0 to some countable infinity, because there's different types of infinity. So it would extend from some countable infinity. So we'll call that number n. So 0 to n. So what current mathematics is right now, they have this number concept of 0. And now let's move this. We'll put nu right there, more realistic. So now, or we'll do this. We'll put 0 in right there. Be factual. Because that's un. So now, because un is the real 0. So we'll say that. We'll say it this way. So when we move from un to n, or un to n, this is something that we can count. This is something that we can put in our mind. We can wrap our brains, our minds around it. We could put it in a cell. We can start with un, and we can end with a number, and we can put them together and make a loop. We can have a cell. We can make an atom of that. We can make a unit. We can knit that. We can sew that together. But with, let's say, infinity, 0, infinity, there is no connection here. Because infinity is a concept, and 0 is a concept to them, and infinity is a concept over here. So there is no real connection. There is nothing really that we can knit together in all actuality. You see that? So then this computer, to arrive at an answer with this kind of setup, the way they are now, then this computer could take infinity upon infinity to arrive at an answer. But this computer, in some amount of time, would arrive at an answer in non-polynomial. So what they're trying to figure out is like a problem like with prime. So we said problem, no problem, prime, non-prime. Is the number prime or is the prime number not prime or composite? Is the number prime or non-prime? That'll be the question. Polynomial, non-polynomial. Problem, no problem. P versus NP. So we could do it on all those levels. But when we talk about prime numbers and encryption, that's one way to look at this problem. And it's one way to put it into a good fashion. Because whether we know a number is prime or not is determined by the factors of that number. And the way to factor that number is to perform algorithms or equations. Like 0 goes into that, 1 goes into that, 2 goes into that, 3 goes. And those are actual functions. So now you got polynomial functions in order to arrive at an answer as simple as a number. So we would like to know how to arrive at this number or know something about this number without having to go through all of that. And if we can do that, then that means we can break the banking system. We can break the internet security. We can break the internet. We can break online. We can break banking. We can break messaging. We can break measuring. We can break any kind of sending, anything over the World Wide Web. we can break the World Wide Web. We can make it crash. Okay? We will be in control. So now, so this problem, if you can reduce this problem from something polynomial to something non-polynomial, then that means that I could put your bank account number. I could put your bank account number into a computer, and if I could get the other part of the key, it's called a key code, and if I have the other part, not the number the bank got, only the number the bank got, I just need the reflective portion, like you got 0, that 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, that's 1. I just need the opposite of what you're doing. I just need the thing that hooks up in there and makes it a full key. So because that number that makes it a full key is exactly the number the bank got. So the bank would have this number right here. The bank would have this number plus this number. Now I'm putting it in simple form because this number would be multiplied times this number or something. Something like that in order to make it real hard. But nevertheless, these are two big prime numbers, and these numbers are being multiplied or added together. They're being brought together. So then we say 1 and 1. So then we say 1 and 1. Now we got the key. Now we see the simplicity of the key. So now we can open your bank account. We got the key. We know what this equals. We know how you arrive at this key. So now that we know these both parts, we know we have the key. We know how you arrived at the key. So knowing this, prime numbers, and knowing prime or non-prime, knowing whether 13, 17, 19, or even 11, or 7, or 23, knowing whether those numbers are prime or not, gives you information that can help with this problem. Because these problems that's in polynomial time take a long time to figure out. But if it was found that these problems not polynomial are exactly like the non-polynomial numbers, if we just have certain knowledge and information, then we would be on to quantum computing because we would have an answer to questions that we never had an answer to in polynomial that would take a lifetime or a lifetime of the computer, millions of years to figure. We can now figure right now in our lifetime, and now we are in a very powerful position as humanity and as far as technology. I should have put that over here too, because not only do we correct humanity, but we correct technology. That's a good one before we leave here. Technology. So we correct the humanity and technology. So remember that. That's our two things, humanity and technology. I almost forgot that. So now, so that's the P versus NP problem, and that's how new mathematics can actually solve that problem and actually get involved. And believe you me, new mathematics does have an answer to that problem, P versus NP. New mathematics does have an answer to the problem, P versus NP. We have resolved P versus NP. We have resolved certain portions of P versus NP and pertaining to certain portions of mathematics, specifically prime. But other things too, pertaining to mathematics too, we have figured out about the P versus NP problem and whether or not it's possible or impossible, impossible. Whether it's possible or impossible. Let me drink some water. Okay? So now, where are we? So, you have seen many applications for new mathematics. I didn't just, even though this spot is blank, it does not do justice on what we have shown about how it's applicable in cryptography, in banking, in mathematics, how is it valuable in bits, in knowing using 4 bits and having 4 bits, or having, let's say, new, and then utilizing, let's say, 0 or odd, having those two numbers, and then having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits, a 5 place space, where now we can use this as a true bit, and we can use this as a true bit, and this as a true bit, and this as a true bit, meaning we can have 1, 2, 3, 4. We can have 4 bits, see? 1 bit, 2 bits, 3 bits, 4 bits. We can have that now. So we talked about that. So all these things is where you're talking about expansion of memory on a computer, expansion of bit space on a computer, expansion of joules, expansion of, megabytes, gigabytes, quantum bytes. Now, new bits, not qubits, not quarter bits, but new bits. That's right. So now, let me see. So when we say primary, we mean the elementary, but we mean elementary in the form of elementary, the smallest numbers in the universe, the smallest numbers on this side of hydrogen, the smallest numbers imaginable, the smallest numbers that like -0 square. The smallest things that you can imagine, the most infinitesimal things you can imagine. That's what we're talking about. So when we say primary and elementary, we're talking about elementary. And so in most of the prizes or medals, a person has to relate their mathematics to some form of other science or some field of technology or engineering. And so we've shown it in computer engineering and technology. We've shown it in other technologies, how new is used, computer sciences. So, new is universal. So what was that? How was I going to say it though? So we've shown it in all the many different ways that it can be applied and utilized. But when it comes to this elementary thing, what I want to say, I just want to be clear about this, is that, and I am getting a gin. So this thing, this elementary particle, when we relate new mathematics, let me show you how it crosses the board from primes and number theory and primes and mathematics, and it crosses the line into physics. Because we have related these numbers to new particles. So now, not only can we know the patternization of primes, we got to rewrite that again. Huh? We know the patternization of particles. We know the production of particles and waves. We know how to predict, or the prediction of particles and waves. We know the position of particles and waves in space and time. We can calculate, we can triangulate. The other shout out, we showed the triangulation out here to new, out here to 0, from the traditional number line on to the new number line. We charted and mapped a vector, a space, triangulation. So now, so this could be, instead of prime, it could be a particle. But remember, the primes, watch this now, prime numbers are called the atoms of numbers. Prime numbers are called the atoms of numbers. So if primes are called the atoms of numbers, Then what are the subatoms? Or what are the quarks? Triads. We'll say trions. Or trios. Biots. And zeals. Because this becomes a question. If primes are the atoms of numbers, and primes make up numbers, or primes, they'll say primes are the atoms of numbers, or they'll say primes are the building blocks of numbers. The building blocks. Building blocks. The atoms of numbers and the building blocks of numbers. So if primes are the atoms of numbers and the building blocks of numbers, then the question would become, what are the subatoms, or what are the building blocks of the building blocks? What are the atoms of the atoms? What are the subatoms of the atoms? Or what are the building blocks of the building blocks? And that's what new mathematics answers. New mathematics answers this question. What are the subatoms? What are the quarks, trios, biots, and zeals? What are their patternization? What are their production points? What are their predictions? And what are their positions at any point on the scale? What happens with them? And that's what new mathematics does. And that's why I personally am pushing for a Nobel Peace Prize for new mathematics, and the person that produced new mathematics, myself, found it. So, and that's a little bit of comedy, but I'm for real about this. That the production, the patternization and the production and the position of primes or particles is directly related to the Nobel Peace Prize. It is directly related to any prize that a person may give. Any institution giving out a prize. When you're able to take the mathematics and relate it to particles, or let's say, like the proposed particle of graviton. And you know gravity has never been proven in the first place. So by proving a graviton, you will prove gravity. Okay? So now, we're proving that gravitons exist. Okay? We're proving that gravitons exist by creating numbers here. So now, these are predicted particles that gravitons exist. So now, what we would do is we would go to a laboratory, we would set up a proper experiment, and we would see if we can produce particles that behave like these gravitons, mathematically, if they mathematically behave like these gravitons. If indeed we find particles, subatomic particles, quarks, trios, biots, that mimic the mathematics that we have, we know we found those particles. And once that person does that, via mathematics, they have predicted the existence of a particle that was not in existence at first. And now, by way of mathematics, they have predicted a particle, and thus the particle can now be known. And that type of work is what people get Nobel Peace Prize for, Fields Medals Awards for, Clay Math Institute Award, MSRI Award, whatever, you know, from whatever institution it is, AMA, American Mathematical Association, Mathematical Association of America, whatever institution that wishes to indulge in that, they can. And I'm asking you, my people, as an institution of people, to indulge in this new mathematics and to help me to do something for you and for your children and for all humanity, for perpetual. So now, so that's another way in which we apply and utilize new mathematics, mathematics. The fact that the atoms of numbers are called the building blocks of numbers. Then if the atoms are the building blocks of numbers, the atoms of numbers and the building blocks of numbers are primes. If primes are the atoms of numbers and the building blocks of numbers, vice versa, then if that's true, then primes must be composed of something. They must be composed of something. They must be a composite. And if they are, what is the composite? What are prime numbers composed of? What are the sub-atoms of primes? Are they quarks? Are they trios? Are they vowels? Are they zeros? Or are they some other exotic particle? Are they some other exotic particle? Could they be? Could they be some unknown particle? Unknown, not just exotic, but just unknown altogether. You see? So that's what new mathematics would endeavor to answer and dares to answer. So new mathematics will predict. We do predict the existence of gravitons, and we predict the existence of tachyons. And we can write by tachyon ether. Okay? But it's not really ether. But new mathematics present, and I won't write it there because it's not the same. But we predict the existence of ether. And nuons. And other exotic particles. Let's see. So we'll erase this once again. And we'll go back to our previous conversation. Erase our banking information. Primes are the atoms of numbers. Primes are called the building blocks of numbers. If they are, then what are the subatoms of numbers? Quarks, trios, biots, zeros. What are they? Exotic particles, unknown particles. What are they? Weightless, massless. What are they? Do they have a number? Do they have a weight? Do they have a mass? Do they have a density? Do they have a form? Do they have a shape? Do they have a color? Do they have a flavor? What are they? What are those particles? Where do they come from? Where do they manifest? Do they manifest here? Do they manifest from here to here? Do they manifest from here to here? Where do they manifest? Do they manifest out here somewhere? Are they stray matter? Are they in a vacuum? Where are they? What are those particles? What are they? Where do they exist? What do they produce? What do they produce? Where would we predict them to be in the mass of particles we have right now? If we were to look at this big mass of particles, where would we predict those particles to be? If we looked at these particles right here, right now, what would we predict those particles to be? What would we predict that particle to be? If that particle was moving in space, through space and time, what would we predict that particle to be? We would draw a plane. We would start with new. We would say 0 on each side. We would start 1, 2, 3, 4, make them negative. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we have a plane. And now we can graph where this is in space. We have a pole to start with, something real, a real number, new, not 0. And we can start to graph this. Now I didn't draw the old number line, but it would be the traditional number line, but it would be kind of me to start doing it like this right here. Or kind of us, our people, start doing it like this right here. -4, -3, -2, -1, -1, I meant +1, sorry. 2, 3, 4. And then -3, -2/3, -1/2, -0/1, and then new. Okay? Now you see how this 0 is right here? And you see how new extends down into that 0? That tells you something about this number 0. What you call 0 it tells you something about this number 0. And it tells you something about the number nu and un. See? Nu and un. Nu and un. Same kind of thing going on here. So, let's finish that out. That's 0, 1. That'll be 1 over 2, 2 over 3, and 3 over 4. So now, at any point this particle is in space, now we can graph that point. Even if it's not on this board, if it was out here, if the particle was out here, there go the board. I'm drawing dots on the board. Suppose one of the particles decided to jump off the board and be right here in space. We can still chart that. We can still chart that particle. Okay? Drop my marker. We can still chart that particle, is what I'm saying. I just want you to realize that. So no matter where the particle is, no matter what the particle weighs, we can still chart it. We can gather a weight for it. We can gather a measurement for it. We can make a sum for it. It's on the scale. It's not metaphysical. It's not transcendental. It's not infinite. It's not paranormal. It's not, it's none of that for us. We have real life answers and solutions. So, nu and un. So here, again, primary and basic, primary and elementary. We deal with basic and the basis of mathematics. Look those words up. Look up basic and basis. B-A, let me write it right. Basis. B-A-S-I-S. I love words so much, I'm not even going to do it. I'll be there all day. Fundamental. Okay? So we got fundamental. We study the fundamental mathematics. This is the economics. See that word fund? Fund? This is the monetary, this is the reward of mental reckoning and thinking of mathematics. So we teach the fundamental, the benefits of mental mathematics. And foundational, that's the founding and the building, the erecting of mathematics. So in these fields, does new mathematics and IML, IAML, these are the fields that we operate in without the periods, so one foot period. It's IML. So we operate in this realm. And this realm is what builds this realm. And this realm is what builds this realm, which builds these. Which built these. See? Let me show you this. Let me see if it'll work right here. Let's see. See that? See that little bit of technology right there? Just using a magnet. See how you do that? See that? See, they're able to take a magnet and put a magnet on there. See that? And make that float. See that? So now, that kind of technology, that's the kind of technology that we are interested in over here at New Mathematics. We're interested in this kind of technology where we can do things like that. Let me see if it's going to come back in. They're killing me with the stopping thing. See that? That's what we're about. That's your spaceship. You see that? That's your rotating spaceship. So that's your anti-gravity spaceship. That's what we're talking about over here in New Mathematics. So absolutely, we would like to be involved in ventures like that. We work with magnets. We work with magnetism. We work on gravitational things and And not just speculating, but real life gravitational things. There's a lot of things that you can, get, but it costs a lot of money. It's going to cost me a lot of money. It's going to cost me family members. It's going to cost me basically my life and where I'm going. For real. To get here and to be doing this, just at even this low level right here, it's been costing a lot of time. It's costing a lot of effort. And me to have to sacrifice a lot of things. And a lot of people needed me, and I could be there for them. So, in order to give back, I would like to complete my goal, my purpose, fulfill my purpose, and be able to give back to my children, to my family, to my community, to everybody. So this is my way of doing it. So this is what we do. So I think we went through everything. I think we did a good job on this part. I'm really glad we had an opportunity to go through that. And as for this part right here, I think we had worked out everything. We had worked out every inverse and obverse and reverse. We had worked out all of them, except for maybe, I think it was, we was talking about, we did 1 over 1. I think I remember that. We did 1 over 1. And yeah, and we talked about 1 over 1. And we did n over n. Yeah, we did do that because we did the 1 over 1. So I don't know if we finished that or not, but that was pretty simple. So then let's do the n over 0 over n. That's the last one we have to do. 1 0 over n equals 0. So we'll write 0 there, like we did in the first place. And then we'll write here the reverse inverse. We know the reverse is here, and the inverse is that. Multiplication instead of alienate, and the answer is that 0. So we can erase that. And we can go back and say 0 times n equals 0. We have that in the numerator. We know that's right. We can move on. So now we want to know the inverse. Not 0 alienate n equals 0, but we want to know the inverse. So the inverse of that is 0 times n equals 0. And lo and behold, 0 times n equals 0. And like we pointed out last night, this answer is this one going this way. And it's the same thing going this way. And that's important because that's called entanglement in quantum mechanics, physics, and science, and mathematics. That's a form of entanglement. And so what we did by doing this, we showing that we untangling the entanglement of quantum physics. When we show this, we untangle it. These are bits and pieces to help you untangle it. If you put all 4 of those together, like we did last shadow hour, 0 divided by n, and you put 0 divided by 0 equals nu, and n divided by 0 equals un, and n divided by n equals n squared. We'll say n divided by n equals n squared. Then we'll have all of the numbers 0, nu, un, and right here, this will be square. But we could call square 1. And one of the reasons why we could call square 1 is because 0 divided by 0 equals 1. And any number, I apologize, that's not square. That's 1. That's not 1. That was multiplication, that would be square. So we could call square 1. We could call square 1 because of this factor. 0 times 0, 0, alienate 0, and alienate 0. We could call square 1 because when we say 0 times 0, we get 0 squared. And this 0 squared is directly related to this number 1 and this number nu, this 0 squared. Because it's the inverse of this number. And because, let me show that again. I did that too fast. 0 times 0 equals 0 squared. This number is directly related to 0 alienate 0 equals nu, and n alienate n equals 1. This 0 squared is directly related to them because of the simple fact that not only is this the inverse, 0 times 0 is the inverse. And not only is this number, two like numbers being divided equal to 1, that checks out. But this number 0 squared is actually equal to 1 and equal to nu. It's actually equal to these numbers. 0 squared is actually equal to 1. We're going to find that later on in new mathematics. 0 squared is actually equal to 1. They're equal to them. And that goes back to what we showed last night. When you start out your Fibonacci or you start out your counts, you notice there's always a problem with 1. This is like 1, 1. And so when you do that, you ask, you got 1, 1. Yeah, I got 1, 1. I see that 1. But where's the other 1? Where's the 1, 1? So then when you say where's the 1, 1, the 1, 1 is here, 0 squared. The 1, 1 is here. So these numbers equal 0 squared. So these numbers are directly linked. Even though this number 0 times 0 would fall under the inverse and reverse inverse of 0 divided by 0, it still falls under the number n over n, even though n does not extend to 0. Its effect, its causation is felt in 0. The causation that takes place at n divided by n at 1 still affects the particles and the waves at 0 divided by 0. Okay? If that helps, if that particle and wave explanation helps any. Okay? So now, so we did the reverse, the obverse, reverse, inverse, and the inverse of everything. I think we've explained what we mean by we want you to help with foundational research. Help us with foundational research and development. Help us with fundamental research and development. Help us with basic and the basis of mathematical research and development. Help us with elementary studies and research and primary research and development. Help us with those things. We're asking the public, we're asking our people to help us with those things, to help us make it possible, to help us make it a reality. Okay? So that's what we're asking. And we're working very, very, very smart and very hard in order to show you that we're worthy of your time, we're worthy of your dollar, we're worthy of your support, we're worthy of having you to help us. Greetings, my love. Papa,
hey,
how's that? I'm glad to see you. I'm about to head out in a second. You want to say greetings? You did how?
The locker was open.
Oh, okay. Say greetings. Let's talk about that. Say greetings. Come on. Greetings, family. Greetings.
Thanks for joining in. I just got home. Thanks for joining in. Love y'all.
The bright and beautiful, brilliant BASTET.
Yes, I hope y'all enjoyed your show.
Yeah, the session, math session.
Yeah, your math session.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna finish this.
Yeah.
And then I'll be okay.
Okay.
So then, that's basically it, family, as far as that's concerned. So as far as that's concerned, we talked about the difference between pure and applied mathematics. We talked about how new mathematics is a new form of information, a new form of knowledge and information called KI. Knowledge and information, KI. Not AI, KI. We talked about new mathematics being a correction, an error correction, the correction of errors in not only the errors in devices and hardware and the errors in the apps and software, but also correcting the errors in technology and humanity itself. Because we talked about a paradox, whether a God could build a rock that God couldn't lift. And that's directly related to whether humanity can build a set of numbers called prime numbers or a problem called P versus NP, whether America can have a prime, not America, I mean humanity or technology can create a big rock that even the God that made it right? The gods that made it, humanity, they can't lift it. Humanity can't lift it. Let's give her some curls in that hair. But she got to be a beautiful Nubian. Okay, now, so even if these gods that made this rock, they can't lift this rock. Why can't they lift this rock? They can't lift this rock because they can't factor prime. Primary numbers, primary. And they can't decode or decipher or decrypt or decircle. They can't decode 0. They can't decode 1 or 0. 1s and 0s, which is called binary. So they can't decode binary. And the mix of binary and primes is your computer code. So because they can't decode prime, binary prime, then because they can't decode that, then this is the rock that humanity can't lift. Because humanity built this technology. Humanity built this technology. They built this rock. They put primes into a binary code. They put it on the computer. They made it the numbers that you can't factor. Now, humanity can't think of a way. Humanity can't think of a way to factor prime. And humanity is afraid to factor prime. Because if humanity factors prime, then that'll mean that they'll be breaking the bank. Computers would crash. Banking and money would crash. Email messages and sending messages online through the mail would crash. Everything would crash. Even measuring the light bill, would crash. Because all of that's protected by binary prime number technology, built to keep humanity safe. It's called online security or online protection. Let me give me a new pen. I don't like that pen right there. It's called online protection or internet security. So we got to include that in there too. So in the rock that we built, because we built online protection, we built online security, we built prime numbers, we built the World Wide Web. So, and you know, along with computers, along with the apps, along with all that, your apps and all that, your computer, your applications, your devices, apps, and devices are all protected by prime number, binary prime number, online protection. So now you see the importance of these binary prime numbers and the encryption of them. Because they, on one hand, these numbers are the World Wide Web. They online protection. They internet security. They keep money, the computer itself, messages, technology, anything, keeps it all running. The binary prime number is protected, it keeps it secure. But on the other hand, these binary prime numbers, no humanity, nor technology can factor prime numbers. No computer can factor prime numbers. No apps and devices can factor prime numbers. So down here, these become shortcomings. These become like NP. These are the polynomial people. And these become like the non-polynomial people because they actually work in the World Wide Web. So what new mathematics want to do, we would like to increase our piece of the rock by being involved in all of this. And lifting this rock off the weight of the world's shoulders. And the way we're going to lift this rock is that we're going to say, now look at the paradox though. We're at a paradox. If we lift the rock, we turn online security upside down. We threaten online security. We threaten banking. We threaten the computer itself. Viruses. We threaten messages. We threaten technology. We threaten airplanes. We threaten anything technology. Okay, we threaten. We threaten thief. On the other hand, though, if we do factor prime, now that's if we factor prime, we threaten that. So this is factor. This is the solution. This is factor. If we factor, it looks bad. It just looks bad. It looks bad if we factor. It looks bad. But if we don't factor, everybody looks happy. But it's a problem if we don't factor. No factor. A non-factor. We are non-factors here. Factor, non-factor. Polynomial, non-polynomial. We non-factors here. We may have the non-polynomial answer, but we're afraid to get it because of the factors. We're afraid to factor that number. It's just like being afraid to 0 divided by 0. Whoa, what might happen? What might happen if we divide 0 by 0? Whoa, what might happen? Nothing. 0 divided by 0, you can lose. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't no lightning bolts. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing. Nobody can stop it. The door already open. What happens if we divide by 0? N divided by 0 equals 0 n. What's the problem? We could check that. Ain't no problem. Ain't nothing going on here. No magic. All mathematics. Black magnetics. Okay? So now, we have a factor and a non-factor. So we have these non-factors here. We have this computer here that cannot factor prime. Binary prime. We have these apps and devices here that cannot factor binary prime. Using them. We have technology that cannot factor prime. We have humanity itself, the human being itself, that cannot factor prime until now. But yet everybody here is happy because the internet is safe and they're able to do business. Everybody is happy. But at the same time, these happy people, they're afraid. They're afraid. They're afraid. They're afraid. These happy people, they are afraid. They are yelling their tongues out. They are afraid. They're not smiling. They are afraid. Deep down inside, they're afraid. You know why? Because they're afraid. Because if they were to ever mess with this one, this mad thing up here, and ever figure it out, then everybody's face would look like that. So that's what's happening. Like everybody's happy the way things is, and the bad guys are looking like this because they don't want you to figure it out. And so when I look like this, and I say, wait a minute, I figured it out. I look like this. I look excited. Wait a minute, I figured it out. I figured it out. And then they say, don't listen to that guy. Stay happy. Be calm. Carry on. Right? That's the Illuminati message. Stay calm. Carry on. And so keep calm. Carry on on that. And so then when it comes to me, says, no, we ain't going to keep calm. We're going to turn this upside down. We know what we can do after that. Me and BASTET, we know what we can do after that, right? So then, we know how to fix this computer. We know how to expand these apps and correct those device errors. We know how to create a technology. We know how to help humanity. We can do all that. And when we do all that, if we create a computer, quantum computer, if we develop apps that got the corrections on it, if we develop devices that, you know, that got the corrections and the error corrections and expansions on it, on the apps and devices expansions, and we develop this new technology, if we develop that new technology and we create a new humanity, and humanity can now factor crime, then this becomes obsolete. And so now, instead of these people just being mad, now these people are crying. They are sad. These people are crying because they got to give up the money now. They got to give up the loot. The man that runs RSI, he said he doesn't even look forward to the day that somebody comes up with him to figure factor crime, because that'll be the end of look that up, RSI. That's a computer coding system by 3 men that came up with it. And you can look up A.S.K, A.k.a. That's the binary coding system. And you can look up DIFFIE-LHILLMAN, Diffie-Hellman, and you can find out even more about this type of mathematics. You can look up a lot of different people. You know, you can even look up, you can go so far as to look up Wolfram Alpha. You can look them up, and they should have some information on these things. You can watch YouTube videos. Look up YouTube videos on this system on banking, on public key. It's called public key cryptography. Public key cryptography. I don't know if I want to erase that yet. So public key cryptography, encryption, cryptocurrency, so whatever. So these people that are happy will now be alarmed by the truth being spoken and knowing. And then these people that were mad will now be straight crying because they're going to lose all the money and they're going to have to start over. It's going to be a fair ground. So this is what keeps the humanity from lifting this rock. So I'm bobbing that with the saying of new mathematics reaching these people's ears. You can do it. You can do it. I'm hoping with this reaching their ears, they ain't got on too many headphones. I'm hoping with this reaching their ears, then you will hear me saying that, and then we can go ahead and lift this rock. Now let me show you what happens after we lift this rock. After we lift this rock, the only thing happens is that we have our brains have been expanded, our technology has been expanded, our apps and devices have been corrected, our computers are now quantum, and we are now processing and tetrahedral thinkers. So now we have developed a new mathematics and a new encryption, a new encoding, a new enciphering, and a new encircling. We have developed all new mathematics. So that's what will happen. We will just create a new encryption. So it's nothing to fear. So now you know how God can build a rock that God can't lift, and now you know how God can disassemble that rock and actually has the knowledge to use that same rock that was a stumbling block as a stepping stone. We turn the stuff that was this part up here into a stepping stone. So now we know how to utilize that rock. And this is the same rock, a rock cut without hands, that we would use to topple that beast. You hear me? This is the same rock cut without hands that we will use to topple that beast. So yes, God can create a rock that God can't lift. And God can also create a rock, lift the rock that God created that he couldn't lift or she couldn't lift. That's right, you can both ways. It's quantum. It's an entanglement there. So we created a rock that once we couldn't lift, and now we can lift that rock with new information and new knowledge and information. New and on. We can now lift that rock and build a whole new world, a new world order. So with that being said, I God that you all have some questions for us the next time you see us. Bastet, is it anything you want to say or speak to the people before we go?
Well,
anything? I know that's on the spot. I know you cooking.
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing?
Come sit with me for a second. Just 1 second. Let the people see you. Let them see you. Let them know we're doing good, and let them know that, I saw you writing on the internet today. I saw you writing about you wanted people to support us and donate. I remember what you told me. I told them what you told me earlier about don't worry about it. I know you said a couple other things, don't worry about it, we'll get it done.
Yeah.
You know, that whole thing. So what I want to know is, you know, when you was looking on the internet, you see a lot of people watching the videos.
Right.
You see a lot of good likes and a lot of good responses.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten any real donations or anybody really supporting us in that direction, support and contribution.
Yeah. Yeah. We have
not even volunteers to help us with PowerPoints or nothing like that.
No, I did speak to some people today, and I was able to get some people to come on board and support us. And we have more people on the live stream today watching. So
That's
I
good.
hope
Thank
that we have built enough momentum to be able to make this happen. And we're not worried about the finances at all. We're going to get it done one way or another. And that's what I was telling you earlier. Don't worry about it, because I know you were stressing. We were both stressing. But we're going to get it done, even if it is with our own money.
Yeah.
We're going to get
But
it
we
done.
would like the people
like
to know that if they help, it'll be a great help.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot of work.
Yes, a lot of work.
And what you're showing here is that you are determined to get it done. You're showing your determination and your willingness to make it happen by any means necessary.
Yeah,
by any means. You should be commended for that and not look down upon. Because we do need the people. We can't succeed by ourselves as individuals.
That's right, we do need
But we do have each other, though. And we're not alone as long as we have each other. So we really would like y'all help and assistance, your support and contribution and donations towards IAML. So peace in the land is truly wonderful. Peace.
Good night.
That's Egyptian sound. Thank you, my love. I love you.
Love you too.
And we love y'all too.
Love y'all.
Can we end this?
Yeah.
Right now?
Just end the live
and
video.
we'll come back with a short-term video. I don't know why they ended right, but there you go.
I missed you.